Alrighty, greetings from sunny Queensland, Australia. It's Rory from 10losttribes.com here, and we're going to have a look at a new series on the timeline, the possible timeline that we're on. This is all speculation on my part. I didn't have Michael or Gabriel come down and say, look, this is how it is. Now, when I look at timelines, I go, oh, that's interesting. But sometimes I go, when I see dates and stuff, I just roll my eyes because no one knows the day or the hour. But we may know the season. And I've been speculating ever since 2020 as to the timeline that we've been on. And I've been wrong about dates all that time. But I believe I'm getting closer to how things actually are as I've been studying. But whether this particular scenario and these times are correct or not, that remains to be seen. It's highly unlikely that I get it all right. I may get some basic ideas right, but the specific details, as far as dates are concerned, may be wrong. However, the reason I'm putting this talk together is because I think the time is late. We are running out of time, and I believe that judgment is imminent upon our world, that we are about to lurch into the tribulation full-blown. Where I differ with a lot of people is that I believe that the seals have been opening, and people would say, well, that can't be so. We haven't seen the Antichrist, we haven't seen the temple built, we haven't seen a whole lot of things. But I've got an explanation for why we could be in a time of judgment and the seals could be opening, but we haven't seen those things happen yet, and I'm going to present it here now. So this talk is called Timeline to Tribulation and Kingdom. And we have Yeshua coming on a white horse with the sword in his hand, although I believe the sword comes out of his mouth. But in any case, he's traveling through time to get here from heaven. Now, this is a timeline that I've adjusted over and over again. Initially in 2020, when certain things happened, I believed that all of the governments of the world are in agreement for something. It was also the same time period that we saw peace being made in the Middle East. And I believe that that's very, very significant. This peace accord had Abraham's name on it, but as I like to say, I don't think it had his signature. Man without Yeshua, the Prince of Peace, cannot actually bring peace. There's not going to be peace until the Prince of Peace returns. So something else happened that year. Now, in Revelation chapter 6, we have 4 horsemen. The first one wears a crown, carries a bow, is riding a white horse, and he goes out to conquer. I believe that we began to see the seals open. And I'm going to explain this. So I'm going to come back to this slide, but I'm going to explain it through this verse, and I'm going to present to you. In Isaiah 46, it's actually verse 10. No, verse 9. Remember the former things of old, for I am God and there is none else. I am God and there is none like me. By the way, there's a depth to this verse. How can you remember former things of old? Well, you can remember because you read about them. Or you can remember them because your spirit was there. Declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Declaring the end from the beginning. And from ancient times the things that are not yet done. So the things that are not yet done are the things in Revelation. Or actually, I believe some of those things have begun to come to pass. But they're declared from ancient times. Declaring the end from the beginning. Well, the first book of the Bible is called Genesis in English, which is from Latin. But in Hebrew, it's called Bereshit. which means in the beginning or in the first. And where it says declaring the end from the beginning, the word for beginning is reshit, as in the beginning, in Bereshit. God declared the things that are going to be in the end times in the book of Revelation in Genesis chapter 1 onwards. So if you want to understand the book of Revelation, get to know Genesis. So I'm using this scripture as a basis for what I'm about to show you. I believe that there are 2 sets of 7 years in the end times. The second set of 7 years is when the Antichrist will confirm a covenant with many, as it says in Daniel. Then halfway through that 7-year covenant, he will break it and put the abomination of desolation up, and then the beast system will take over. So the way I understand it is that there's 7 good years and 7 evil years. We're in this, coming to the end of the 6th year of seals, as I see it. We have had, since 2020, in fact just before 2020, since 2020 we have seen the world move towards totalitarianism, tyranny. And mankind is being attacked. How does a snake kill its victims? Well, a python kills by strangulation, but a venomous snake through venom. Mankind has received a snake bite. This is a continuation of what happened in the Garden of Eden when we chose to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now our technology is allowing the enemy of our souls to complete what he began. The separation of mankind from God. Humanity is effectively being forked into 2 different branches. The seed of the woman and the beast's seed. The seed of the serpent. And technology has a large part to play in all of this. So my question is, are there 2 sets of 7 years? And were the seals opening 1 year apart since September, October 2019? Because in Hebrew, in the Bible, the year, even though the first month is in April, the 7th month is in September, October, and that's when the Jubilee years and the sabbatical years are calculated. So I believe that's when the seals open, during the month that sees trumpets and Yom Kippur, or Day of Atonement, and Tabernacles or Sukkot. So the Feast of Trumpets in Hebrew is called Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, because that's when the years are calculated, even though it's the 7th month. I know it might do people's heads in, but just imagine it's like tax time, and the tax year may not be the same as January in whatever country you're in. So now in Genesis, we have 2 sets of 7-year periods. One was when Jacob worked for 2 wives, 7 years each, for Leah 7 years and for Rachel 7 years. And the first 7 years went as a breeze for him because he loved Rachel. But the second 7 years were a bit slower. He got both of them at the same time, Leah first and then Rachel, but he had to work 14 years in total. So is this a clue to the end times? Because the end is in the beginning. Now there was another thing that happened that was 14 years. That was Pharaoh's dream of 7 good and 7 evil, or bad years, where there would be 7 years of harvest and 7 years of famine. I believe that we're in the 7th year. We're just about to enter the 7th year of the first 7 years, and things are going to start to get ugly from now on as we see the 7 trumpet judgments. So that's the scenario I'm looking at. It began in Trumpets 2019, and it will end in Trumpets 2033. And we're coming at Trumpets 2026, the end of that 7th year. But we're here at the end of the 6th year, and that's where we're going to see the seals released. So I think I'll stop that there. This is just an introduction. We're going to go back to this slide here and then the next talk, and look at a few other slides as well. So thanks very much for your patience, and I look forward to talking to you soon. God bless and shalom. Bye-bye.